Hi guys, let's talk about value in creating form. Our objectives are demonstrate knowledge of different drawing pencil types and how to use them to create different values, and then develop skill in creating different values, edges, and establishing believable form using graphite pencil. So pencil. The terms pencil and graphite are used interchangeably. A pencil is made from graphite, enclosed in a wood casing. It is the most common drawing material. However, what you might not know is they're produced in various grades or degrees of softness hardness. So when you're combining different types of pencils, this creates smooth transitions and a really nice range of values. So our regular old number 2 pencil is right in the middle. It's called an HB. And then when you start buying drawing pencils, there's a whole range. So B pencils, as you can see on the chart, the bigger the number, the darker and softer they get, so they'll blend really, really smooth. So if you're trying to create a really nice range of values, a really nice dark shadow, you want to grab a darker B. And then on the other side, if you're going this way, those H pencils are harder and they're lighter. So they're really good for details and getting things like really, really, really light, like almost white. So you need to decide which type of pencils you need depending on your drawing, but usually you're going to need a darker B pencil, a number 2 HB, and then maybe one H pencil. So form. Form is a shape transformed to give the illusion of depth or 3 dimensions. So this is what we're trying to create in our work. And then the 3 basic shapes that make up everything is a circle, square, and triangle. Our 5 basic forms are the sphere, the cube, the pyramid, the cone, and the cylinder. So when we're looking at a subject, we want to think about how can we break this subject down into those shapes and then into those forms, and then we're going to go into details. But what are the overall shapes of what we see? Second is value. So value is the degree of light and darkness of an area, and it is what creates believable form, depth, and space in your artwork. You need a range of values, nice rich darks, good midtones, and nice highlights to make something believably round or 3 dimensions. If you just use one pencil and it's all like 2 values, it's just going to look really flat. So the 5 elements of shading a sphere, and this works for other forms as well, but most everyone starts with a sphere. Our lightest value is always going to be the highlight. This is where the light is hitting the subject, so this is going to be where the brightest part is. Second is the shade. It also could be called a midtone. So it's not quite where the highlight is. This is where the actual value of the subject would be. And then a little bit darker is your reflected light. So a lot of people don't think about this, but when you're doing a sphere and it's on a table, there's always going to be some light bounced off the table. And this is going to create this little crescent of light, and this little attribute of the sphere really makes it look 3-dimensional. Fourth is the shadow. So this is where the light is no longer hitting the object. There might still be a little bit of reflected light, so it's not completely the darkest part. And then the darkest part is your cast shadow. So the cast shadow is where no light is hitting the table. That object or subject is completely blocking out any type of light. So here is your 5 ranges of value. And whenever you're drawing, trying to create form, you want to make sure you have at least 5 to create a nice looking drawing. So another really important thing when drawing realistically, trying to create form, are edges and transitions. So whenever 2 values or colors meet, they make an edge. So a sharp edge is when light transitions from dark to light very quickly. And then a soft edge is when it transitions from dark to light very slowly. So you need to be very observant on your subject, your reference, on what is the transition, what is the edge. Is it sharp? Is it blended? Is it soft? So when you are an artist and you are drawing, you need to use both depending on your reference. So this is a bark plate of a sculpture. So you need to use different types of edges to create different types of effects in your drawing. So in this example, there is a hard edge right where the sculpture meets the background. There's a softer edge on the nose. It's kind of a shorter transition, but it's still soft. It's not like a crisp line. A lost edge, there's barely any blending, like any edge there at all. It almost just fades out. And then this is blended a little bit more. So making these edges correct is what creates this really amazing 3D effect in this drawing. So for your practice work, we're going to be practicing doing some gradiated tones, so blending from dark to light to create believable form. We're going to do some shading practice. And then first, you're going to do some pencil and edge practice. So we're going to be practicing how to create edges, what the different types of pencils look like, and then how to blend things very smoothly and crisply to create forms. So I can't wait to see what you do. Just make sure you check off with me before you're done. Good job.